Ooh, that was just one hey. Okay, let's do that again. Hey guys, what's up? So in today's video, okay, I need to not be spinning. This is a little ridiculous. All right, stop spinning, okay. So today we're going to be talking about something that is really relevant in my life, and it's something that I struggle with, and I know that a lot of people struggle with. And so I wanted to just kind of share my methods of coping with anxiety. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I haven't done extensive research on this, but I just want to share what I do to help me so that maybe it's something that can help you. There are so many different kinds of anxiety that people struggle with. I personally struggle with a little bit of social anxiety and anxiety that comes on from stress. So here are my 9 tips on how to cope with anxiety. The first 3 are going to be more of like in general lifestyle tips, and the last 6 are going to be more of while you're having anxiety, things that you can do to help with it. So here we go. So I think the most important thing that you have to do is coming to terms with your anxiety, understanding that it's part of who you are, and it's not that there's something wrong with you. I think there's a huge stigma against people who have anxiety or any type of mental illness, that there's something wrong with them, or something to be fearful, or you need to keep them at arm's length. And I think sometimes when people hear that you have anxiety, it puts them off a little bit, and that's really hard to deal with as the person who has anxiety, to think, okay, other people think that something's wrong with me. Lennon wanted to join the conversation too. She suffers from separation anxiety. When I leave her, don't you? Yeah. Okay, what I was saying is when I first realized that what I was dealing with was anxiety, the first thing that I had to do was to not beat myself up about it, and kind of embrace it and be like, you know what, this is part of who I am, and it's part of who I'm always going to be. And I have hair all over my mouth, and that's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to embrace. So my next tip is to talk about it. I think that connecting back to what I was saying with my first tip, there is this stigma about mental illness and anxiety disorders that I really think needs to be worked on. And I feel like the more that I talk about having anxiety as if it's a normal thing and if it's part of me, the more other people accept it as a normal thing and accept it as part of me, and that it's not that there's something wrong with me. On one hand, coming to terms with it myself helps me, and also coming to terms with it myself helps me to help others come to terms with other people having it, and it not being this big scary thing, and having it be a normal part of humanity. And the more that I talk to people about anxiety, the more people I find that struggle with it as well. And I think that me talking so openly about my struggles helps them to realize that they can talk openly about their struggles, and together we can normalize mental illness. My next tip is to find your support. While you're talking to the people around you, make note of the people who are very accepting of your anxiety and the people who are not, because these are the people that you're going to want to go to when you're having anxiety or you're having a panic attack, because they're going to be the ones that are going to rally around you and do the things for you that you need done, or help you achieve the things that you need done while you're having an anxiety attack. So now we're going to go into the day-to-day dealing with anxiety on a daily basis. So my first tip is know your triggers. These are the things that are going to cause you to have anxiety. Mine are talking on the phone, talking to strangers, ordering food, parking, driving in cities, and talking to someone about something being messed up, like if I was at a restaurant and my food came to me and it was like the wrong order, like that is kind of my thing. Knowing your triggers can help you either to avoid these things or to know that, okay, I need to make an appointment and I need to call the doctor's office and I'm gonna have to talk to somebody on the phone, and like that's okay. and to just kind of help you get ready for it if it's something that you know is coming. Now, I know you can't always control your triggers. Sometimes it's not, I need to make a phone call. Sometimes it's someone's calling me, and you know, you have to either answer or not answer or try and figure out what you're doing. And I'm having anxiety thinking about it right now, but that's okay. But as long as you know what your triggers are, like your main triggers, it kind of helps you guide through them a little bit easier. So my next tip is to talk about it. And I know I already said that, but this is kind of like part 2 of talk about it. So not only should you talk about it in general, but when you're having an anxiety attack, let someone know, somebody who's with you, let them know, hey, I can't do this right now because I'm having anxiety, and that's okay. Acting like everything's okay when you're having an anxiety attack and not telling somebody, hey, I'm having anxiety right now, I just need a minute, is not going to be healthy for you, and it's not going to allow that person to help you in whatever way you may need help. And my next tip kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, and it's use your support system. If you're having an anxiety attack, talk to the people who are in your bubble that will support you and will help you through it and know what you need from them. For example, I went to Starbucks with my best friend, and I ordered a drink and I ordered a water, and it was a really busy time of the day. They were super busy, and when I got my drink, and then we waited and my water never came. And she's like, we'll just go ask them. And I was like, that's the last thing I wanted to do. Can't form sentences, don't want to talk to them. And you know, and when you think about it, I'm literally asking for what I ordered, and I'm asking for a cup of water. Like, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but my best friend knows my anxiety. She knows the things that trigger me, and they don't always trigger. So her asking me like, oh, go ask him for water isn't necessarily something that would always trigger me. So it wasn't like she was being disrespectful in that way. So I just turned to her and I said, I can't. And she immediately knew what I was talking about, and she said, okay, what do you want to do? And I said, if you want to go ask for me, I would appreciate it. If you don't, that's fine. I'm fine leaving and not having it. It is so amazing to have somebody in your life who can be there for you and who understands that when you say, I can't do this, they're not going to ask you why. They're going to say, okay, how can I help you? What can I do for you? How can I make this easier for you? Because her going up and asking him for water or us just leaving is a way easier solution for me than forcing myself to do something I'm not comfortable with. My next tip is to breathe. I know this sounds super simple, but when you're having anxiety, you tend to have really shallow breaths, and it can cause your heart to race, which will cause you to have more anxiety, like physically have anxiety. I use when I am having an extreme anxiety attack, when I'm at the highest level of anxiety that I have, which doesn't happen too often to me, but usually it's in a parking lot when I have to find parking, because that's something that I can't really get out of. I have to find parking. See, as I'm already like stressing out thinking about parking in a parking structure with lots of cars. I made a video long time ago called How to Fall Asleep Faster, the 4-7-8 method. I actually use the 4-7-8 breathing method to help cope with my anxiety, because it slows down your heart rate and it like kind of brings you back to like a level playing field when you're having an anxiety attack. So you don't have to go watch that video. I'll briefly explain to you how it works. Basically, you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then breathe out of your mouth for 8 seconds. This helps to relax me in situations. It also gives me something to focus on. So if I'm focusing on my breathing and my breaths and counting, I'm not focusing on whatever is triggering my anxiety in the moment. My next tip is to make a decision or don't. I read an article a couple of days ago about coping with anxiety. I tend to find interest in those types of articles, but that article actually inspired me to make this video, because one of the things that they said was to make a decision. And for me, the first thing I thought was, no, If you have anxiety from being put into a situation where you need to make a decision about something, sometimes it's best to not make that decision right then because you're not in your regular state of mind. You might need some time to think about it. So this is kind of what goes through my head when I need to call and make a doctor's appointment, because that's something that is a trigger for me. I remember that I need to make a doctor's appointment and I think, oh, okay, I need to make a doctor's appointment. Hold on, let me call them. And then I'm like, oh, or maybe not. And maybe I shouldn't. And I guess I shouldn't. Maybe I won't. Okay, I'll just do it in an hour. I'll just do it later. And instead of just saying, okay, I'm not ready right now to make this phone call, I'm gonna try again tomorrow. And just let that be okay. That right now I'm having anxiety about it, and tomorrow I might feel better about it, and I might be able to do it, and that's fine. So I guess you do need to make a decision, but it's a decision on whether you're gonna do it or not. In the article, they kind of talked about just do it, and once you're done with it, then you won't have to worry about it anymore. But sometimes getting yourself to do it is the anxiety. For me, at least it is, I know that. And my last tip is to find your distractions. There are lots of things that you can do that will help calm your anxiety, and if you figure out what those are, when you're having an anxiety attack, you know that you can go straight to those things. Anything that you find relaxing and calming will help you get through your anxiety. For me, it's the breathing exercise that I talked about, watching TV, doing my makeup. I have a lot of things. Listening to an audiobook. I need something that is mildly stimulating, but not too much concentration, so that my brain can kind of relax in the situation and doesn't have to work too hard, but is still being distracted from whatever was causing my anxiety in the first place. You might need something where you're totally zoned out, you're just sitting on the couch and you can kind of just not think and not have to worry about anything. Or you might need something super stimulating, like doing a math problem or reading a book or something like that. So it's really important to find your distractions, because those are the things that you know you can go to help you when you're having an anxiety attack. So those are my 9 tips on how to cope with anxiety. I hope that it helps. If you have any tips that I didn't mention, I'd love to hear about them. Go ahead and leave them in a comment down below. And of course, spending time and petting your pets also helps with anxiety. I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope that you guys have a really good weekend. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe and click the thumbs up. Bye guys!